Can I help you? Aren't you Annie Sorensen Johnson? I've seen you on telly. I'm sure it's her.
Spoiled cow. Child killer.
No touching any of the obstacles or it's back to the beginning. Listen for your partner's voice and work as a team. This is humiliating.
It's only a game, Rose.
No cheating, you two.
Did you actually send Joyce on a 3-day course to learn these skills, Wallace?
Right. The guides to the far end, please.
I think I'm going to be sick.
And silence until I give the word. We all fail unless we all get there, so focus. Go!
Have a fag.
Against the law, isn't it?
Break the law.
How would you define yourself, Rose?
Why do I have to, Joyce?
You don't. But if you did?
Single woman, 39 years old, multiple failed relationships, no man, no savings, no place of her own to live, good at her job. Correction, very good at her job.
Are you a success?
What is success, Rose?
Wallace, what we have in this country is a criminal justice system funneling an amazing number of people into incredibly overcrowded prisons where they just sit and rot until they can get their hands on enough drugs to make it bearable. Now, an alarming number of these people turn out to be scarily innocent of the charges they face, so success is getting as many of them back out of prison as I possibly can.
And doesn't that success finally depend, Rose, on how well we work together as a team?
No, Joyce, it doesn't. I shouldn't be doing this job. I should be stuffing soft toys in Northamptonshire. See you.
Rose?
Yeah.
We live in the same house at the moment.
So?
So wouldn't it be a thought to travel home together?
Yeah, we could wear blindfolds, guide each other on and off the toilet using only verbal commands.
Or in total silence, as the case may be. Look, I know it's a nuisance, but without you to drive it, my car's
Don't wait up, Maloney.
Brilliant. Teamwork.
Talk to me about Rose.
I can't.
Why not?
Too, complicated.
You're living together at the moment, yeah?
Oh, well, no, it's just, platonic.
No, I know, of course, that. But, all right, shall I tell you what I think about Rose? I think every office should have one. But please, can you just make her see that she's got to work closely together with somebody? Just show her this. I want you to work on it together, because she's going to need you on this one. And it needs to be done quick.
What is it?
Well, she's doing 15 years for gassing a woman and her daughter. Prosecution said she had an infatuation with the woman's husband, but the defense said they were lovers.
So either way, she had a motive.
Well, that's exactly right. That's what the jury thought. But there is no forensic to link her to the crime.
Why does Rose need me on this?
Well, you find that out when she reads the file.
And why does it have to be quick?
Because she's completely fallen apart in prison. It's on suicide watch.
Child killer.
Didn't your boyfriend want you no more, Annie? Is that the problem? Is that why you did it?
I didn't do anything. Somebody else did it.
What? Somebody else killed his wife and little girl?
Got a present for you, Annie.
Feel free to use it.
Out of here, you two. Get back to your cells. Open this.
You need to get permission to come in here.
Sorry.
You remind me of a horse I once backed.
So what?
Came in so late it had to tiptoe into the stables.
Sorry, did you back horses?
No, it was a joke.
Oh.
Been somewhere nice?
The Pizza Express.
What, for 3 hours?
I don't like crowding your space.
No, Rose, what you don't like is me crowding your space. I've invited you to share. Don't be like a teenager. Share it.
I'm not very good at sharing.
Well, tough. Because Wallace wants us to do this together. I think it's your good news, by the way.
Do you say that?
I'm not supposed to tell you, I think.
Maloney. Of course you're supposed to tell me. That's why he told you. He wants Mrs. Maverick. It makes him feel enlightened, a brilliant motivator with a light touch. He's a game player. You got anything to drink?
Yeah. Be interested to see what you think. You might recognize her.
No. Not the celebrity bunny boiler, not Annie Sorensen Johnson. This woman was nailed on guilty.
There's nothing like an open mind.
Wallace wants me to do this. Oh, I see. He wants me to empathise with a fellow obsessive female. God, the man's a genius.
You don't like her much, do you?
Oh, it's the sit-ins and the rock star boyfriends and the endless self-promotions and... Oh, above all, it's that face. I mean, why are we wasting our time on this stupid cow when there are real people who need our help?
Well, she is a real person, Rose.
She is a media creation.
Oh, well, to hell with her. I'll tell Wallace you were too busy. I'll do it myself. Or maybe I'll tell him you finally disappeared so far up your own arse you're working in total darkness. Good night.
Have you finished with the bathroom?
Did you hear funny noises last night?
Why? What were you doing?
From next door.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did.
She's just lost her husband. He was playing squash about 6 weeks ago. Found a lump under his arm. Bush. Gone. Just like that. Passive smoking, I expect.
2 witnesses placed you at the scene of the crime within minutes of the time when somebody turned on the gas and disconnected the feed to the living room fire. You were standing at the gate staring at the house.
Why shouldn't I be there?
Why should you?
David and I were lovers.
Yes, well, the court rejected that idea. Let's just stick to the facts.
It is a fact. And if you won't believe it, you can't help me. I love him. He loves me.
Even though you were convicted for killing his wife and child?
David knows in his heart that I'm innocent.
That's not what he says.
I know what he says. And I know what's in his heart.
He also says he only met you twice. Why does he say that? What makes you think David Terry still loves you? Does he send you a Valentine?
I've had no contact with David since just before the deaths. 3 years ago.
And what was that?
He wrote a letter saying we couldn't go on. He needed to end it, for their sake. For his wife and daughter.
Well, how come you couldn't produce this letter to back up your story?
Have you ever had an adulterous affair, Mr. Maloney?
Actually, we're not here to answer your question.
Yes, I have. As a matter of fact.
Did you keep her letters?
I did, actually.
Well, we didn't. Does that make me a killer?
And nobody knew. Nobody ever saw you together.
Have you spoken to him?
Not yet, but we will.
Will you tell him something? Tell him I said thank you. Thank you for the riot in my heart and soul that told me I was alive. Thank him for the laughter and the joy and the precious gift of intimacy. Because when I was in his arms, I felt that I had at last, after a long journey, finally come home. And ask him if he still has any love for me. Could he please help me? He knows the truth. Could he please help me?
Did you hear those noises again last night? I won't be a minute.
That was my last fag.
Oh, hi, it's Maggie, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm from next door.
Oh, yeah.
We've passed each other in the street a few times, and I saw you in the supermarket once, and I had a few words with Graham.
What do you want?
Nothing, well, you know, just to say how sorry I am, and if there's anything I can do.
Like what?
Oh, I don't know, whatever. I mean, you're on your own, aren't you? So,
You make me vomit.
It's nice of you to fit us in. David Terry still live here?
No, he's trying to sell it, but it won't shift, though, because of the bodies.
And, you led the initial investigation?
That's correct. Sorry, only chance I'll get today. Cooker turned on in there. Gas tap's on in here. Connector uncoupled in there. 2 bodies found in here. In sleep positions, cuddle up. Didn't know anything about it.
And you arrested Danny Sorensen Johnson 2 weeks later?
Not personally, but yeah.
Why, exactly?
Because of the couple who I identified as standing there.
Aren't you Annie Sorensen Johnson?
And what Dr. Terry said.
Which was what? Exact words.
I said, I've got 2 neighbours downstairs who think they saw Annie Sorensen Johnson by your gate shortly before the bodies were discovered. Does that mean anything to you? Long pause, and he said,
oh, Christ, no.
Could she have been looking for you?
Looking for me? Why would she have been doing that?
Though he seemed surprised to hear she'd been seen at the gates.
More dismayed, I thought.
Which way was she looking? Towards the house or towards the road?
Both at different times. Look, are we done here?
Yeah, I think so.
Now, hang on. Was there anybody else in the frame before you arrested Annie?
Yeah. When we found the gas taps had been tampered with, we had a red hot favourite for about 10 minutes.
Who's that?
Nutter called Duke Rothermere. It's not his real name. He's had it changed by deed-poll, so we stuck with it. Well, he'd done this sort of thing before. Once at his foster parents' house when he was a kid, and once to some bloke he thought had cheated him out of his inheritance. He's a complete maniac. But to be fair to the noble lunatic, the houses were empty both times. He's no murderer.
Did you find him?
Oh, that was easy. He was in the scrubs, doing 5 years for attacking a bloke he said had insulted his ancient mother.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, cheers. We aren't going to need a whole week, Maloney.
Well, there's no evidence to place her inside the house, though, and she was looking at the road as well as the house. She was waiting for him, like she said.
She was waiting for a car to open the gates.
Bloody hell. Ronnie Johnson.
Richest hippie in all the land. Wants to talk to us about his daughter's case. Mr. Johnson, hi. I'm Miss Linden. Mr. Maloney. We're the caseworkers in your... Sorry, may I,
I shot this in our garden when Annie was 5. I just want you to... There. Ronnie Johnson, hi.
Hi.
Hi. I want you to look at this face and forget everything you think you know about my daughter. I mean, really, look at this face. She is not what they say she is. This girl was, and is, full of love for the world and every creature in it.
Well, except police horses. Because she has a criminal record for public disturbance.
You see, this is it. This is exactly my point. She was defending her right to protest against the leader of a military dictatorship being fated in her own country.
At what point? Sorry.
And ended up using violence when she wasn't listened to. Seems to be a pattern here.
Says who?
Oh, the judge, in his summing up.
Sorry, at what point?
She has spent her life getting her own way, and when she finally comes across something that she can't have, a married man called David Terry, she reacts by stalking him and turning the gas on in his house.
2 points. 1, there's no evidence of stalking.
She followed him, she says.
That's not stalking. You're joining up the dots the same way the jury did. Your colleague needs to check her facts. Secondly, she did have him. She did have him. They were lovers.
She says they were. He said he barely knew her, but he did find her to be delusional, spoilt and needy.
And that opinion, that completely biased opinion, was fed to the court as if it were a fact by the forensic psychiatrist whose evidence in later cases was discredited.
Yeah. Which is why this agency will look at the evidence again. But I have to say, from what I've read so far, I don't think that the conviction relied that heavily on the shrinks.
Talk to Annie. An open mind is all I ask. Her only crime was to love someone too much.
Well, it's no wonder she's off her trolley.
What was his point?
That Annie Sorensen Johnson was really convicted of being rich, spoiled and irritating, not of double manslaughter.
That was an embarrassment. We're supposed to be public servants, and you as good as told him you'd already made your mind up.
I will not be bullied into treating this woman any differently from anybody else.
You already are. What do we really know about Dr. David Terry?
Must have thought he had everything. Beautiful brainy wife, lovely daughter, lovely home. It's all gone. Works for a charity in the East End now.
Now, what does that say to you?
Well, like what?
Guilty conscience.
Do you believe they were lovers? The riot in my heart and soul? Mills and Boone could do better than that, Maloney.
Why do I have to revisit this?
We have to make sure there's been no miscarriage of justice.
You have no doubts, then?
She was there. She had the motive, her obsession with me.
How well did you know her?
I didn't. I met her. I used to socialize a lot in those days. We were probably at the same party together.
Well, were you or weren't you?
Yes. I met her at a party.
Can I introduce myself?
I don't think there's any need for that.
Your wife wasn't with you then?
No. Helen wasn't a party animal. She was a homemaker.
She didn't like these, showbiz parties.
Don't misunderstand the life I used to lead. Yes, I had a lot of celebrities on my list, but I still did pro bono work even then. There were homeless people, for instance, even in Chelsea. And I worked as a locum in a number of London prisons.
She says you were lovers.
Did you ever write to her?
Why would I write to her?
Men seem to find her attractive.
My wife was a beautiful woman, Miss Linden. And in time, so would my daughter have been.
I'm sorry. Must be awful for you.
Yeah, well, you have your job to do.
She says that the love you gave her was like a riot in her heart and soul, and she asked for your help.
Mr. Maloney, she is a damaged human being facing a very bleak future. And I pity her. But she killed my family. Do you understand? She killed my family. And the thought that this was done out of love is pretty much unendurable. Have we finished, please?
Yes, but just for the record, Annie Sorensen Johnson has never said, in court nor to us, that she did it, or that she did it out of love. She's quite certain in her own mind she didn't do it, and that you were her devoted lover.
And you believe her?
There's not a scrap of evidence to place her in the house.
Nothing. Except the phone call ruled inadmissible by the judge.
What's the phone call?
The one my wife made the night she died, asking me to come and remove Annie Sorensen Johnson from our home. My phone was switched off. The jury never heard this. It was the last call my wife made to me.
He reminds you of anybody?
I knew you'd say that.
Women fall in love with older men who remind them of their fathers.
No, that's just what middle-aged men like to think, Maloney. Is that what happened to you in your adulterous affair, then?
She was older than me, thanks.
She reminds you of your mother?
Rose, please stop it. Now, is there any chance you're going my way in my car?
No, but I can drop you off.
Marvellous.
Oh. Sorry, I'm, not interrupting anything private, am I?
Mr. Johnson's daughter tried to kill herself this afternoon, so why don't you come in and sit down, Rose?
I'm sorry to hear that.
Are you? Do you have any idea how despised she is in that place? How lonely. Publicly denied by the man she loves. And he told me you didn't believe her. She felt her last chance had gone.
We didn't say that.
You didn't need to. Well, she's not going to sit around that place for another 13 years, that I can promise you. If you can't get the truth out of him. I will.
Mr. Johnson, maybe you should help her face the reality of her life. She's still young. 13 years is possible. People endure things.
She means it. Her mother died by her own hand. When Annie was 7. Annie was there.
I didn't know that, I'm sorry.
No, nobody knows. It was kept quiet. Annie never talks about it.
Must have drawn you and Annie very close together.
I was never there, Miss Linden. I had an international business to head up. I was hardly aware of Annie's existence till she was 20. If I should lose her again,
What'd she do?
Slashed her wrists. Well done. You were right not to react. Not our job to clean up the mess people make of each other's lives. Do you, want a drink?
Yeah. Drink.
The whole world is made of love. It's how humanity survives. The world is about reaching out to each other. No matter how often people leave you, no matter how often you get the door slammed in your face, it takes courage to reach out again. But we do. And that makes us human.
I think you rather misunderstood me this morning.
What do you want?
I want you to start telling the truth. They tell you she cut her wrists.
Get out of my car.
I'm not going to let you get away with this.
I'm calling the police.
Tell the truth! I want my daughter back.
What about my daughter? What about my wife? Who'll give me them back?
Your life was a pack of lies.
Your daughter's deranged. She's insane. She should be locked away forever for what she did.
It so takes you by surprise. I mean, these are Graham's mates. You know, blokes who worked with him and played squash with him. There's pallbearers even. And 5 of them. 5 of them. And you know, poor bloke's hardly been in the ground 3 weeks and they're round here or phoning and sending little text messages to his widow. And basically, they'd quite like to, you know, shag her.
Anyway, look, thanks very much for the wine.
Wait, would you?
Would I what?
You know, like to shag me?
No, of course not. God, no.
Because, I mean, I don't know you.
Quite. I mean, obviously, you're a very, But
I'm so lonely.
Hey.
So how you doing?
This official?
No, just... how's life?
Haven't got one, Wallace. I thought I told you.
Maloney?
What about him?
Well, he's gone home, has he?
Oh, yeah. We're sorting out his stamp album by now.
Please. We do it in here. We do it in here.
No.
Well, in the... You go in the bedroom. The bedroom.
Look, this is wrong. This is not right. You're not thinking straight. This is not the right thing for you to do.
Talk. Just talk then.
Okay.
So, no man then?
Oh, yeah. Well, that is... no.
How come?
You? Got a man?
No. No, I have a wife.
Well done.
No, we're semi-detached. We're how can I put this? We were very young when we married.
So she doesn't understand you.
No, unfortunately, she understands me perfectly.
Are you hitting on me, Wallace?
Pardon?
I said, are you hitting on me?
Absolutely not, Rose.
I'm sorry. You better go. Please forgive me.
Pleasant evening.
Oh, especially you.
Early night. Oh, it's stuff off the net about stalkers. All the experts say the same. When it turns violent, it almost always means there was a sexual relationship of some kind.
But he says there wasn't any sex.
Well, does it never occur to you he could be lying? Could have given her one night.
Speaking of which, you had the Merry Widow last night?
What?
Her next door. Sounded like a block train getting sorted by Dinah Rob.
No, I didn't hear that, no.
I thought she was supposed to be in mourning.
She is! Have some respect, for God's sake.
It's all right, keep your hair on.
Don't leave half-eaten pieces around the place. It stinks.
I don't like living with you.
I like living with you. And if you don't like it, be my guest. Piss off. I'm going to work. I'll leave this with you. You might learn something about human nature.
And what will you be doing whilst I'm completing my education?
I'm doing my best to find out about Dr. Terry's life. The prosecution had a free ride attacking Annie's reputation. Nothing was said about him or his wife. I mean, was she the saintly stay-at-home he says she was?
Well, I've heard of clutching at straws.
You've just never been interested in anything but Annie being guilty, have you?
Maloney, your week's half gone. I don't buy any of this. It's time to stop.
Well, why don't you go and talk to her about the call and I'll get the transcript.
I'm sorry about the pizza. You're right. I'm a slut to live with.
No.
So, in fact, I'll be gone when you get home.
Last night, I don't know what it was.
Don't you?
No. So, I better get to work.
Yeah, you better.
Bye then.
Yeah, bye.
Joyce, it's Maloney.
Hey, Maloney.
I need a favour.
Sure, what's the problem?
Can you track me down a telephone transcript? I don't want to be parted from you, if that's all right.
Did you speak to David? He still denies it.
Very convincingly.
He really believes that I did it, doesn't he?
How'd you meet?
I met him at a party.
Excuse me. May I introduce myself?
You really don't need to, Dr. Terry.
You knew him?
Knew of him. I'd seen him at other functions. We slept together 2 nights later. We were just blown away by each other.
Really?
Ah. Someone's been reading the literature on stalkers. You think I've imagined a sexual relationship. You absolutely despise me. Okay. So, maybe I was stalking him. Hey, maybe I stalked him without knowing it.
I think most stalkers don't know they're stalkers, Annie. That's the kind of nature of it. We've all loved from afar.
I didn't love from afar. I loved him full on, up close. And I tell you, when he was inside me, it was the best sex I've ever had in my life. And I've had a lot, so I don't need to invent any.
David remind you of anybody when you met him?
Like who?
Why didn't you tell us you're inside the house?
Inside the house?
Yeah, inside the house.
There's no evidence to say I was inside the house.
Except the phone call.
He shouldn't have told you that.
Well, all's fair in love and war, Annie.
The judge agreed it wasn't evidence.
No, but it sounds interesting, though, doesn't it? True, then. You knocked on the door, even though you knew he wasn't there because his car was gone. Why?
To tell her it was over. To tell her she had her husband back.
Can I take your picture, please? Of course.
It was fine at first. Daniela and I just got on like mates straight away because she'd seen some kids' programs I made for the telly.
Can I have your autograph as well,
Yeah.
please? Thank you.
Do you want something special?
I don't mind, really.
How long have you known David?
2 years.
Odd. He's never mentioned you.
2 years, Mum. 2 years. Duh.
No. Well, he wouldn't, would he? He's such an amazing guy, your dad. The best.
Why wouldn't? I think it might be better if you left, Annie. David might not be coming home tonight. He often doesn't on Mondays.
I know.
I think you should leave now.
Could you just call him and get him to ring me? No, listen, write something else.
Thank you.
Leave a message here for Dr. Terry.
David, you get yourself back here. I want this person out of here. I want this thing out of my house now.
Mummy!
Was you outside the house? It was you inside the house? But you didn't come back and turn the gas on. You didn't hate them for having what you wanted.
I've never hated anybody in my life.
You sure about that? Annie, I don't want to say anything else hurtful to you. But I do want to say this. I can only see one clear thing in this whole mess, and it took Maloney to point it out to me. You have developed an obsessive and deluded belief that you have an intense physical and emotional relationship with a man who reminds you of your father. The father you hardly saw after your mother killed herself when you were 7. And a man, incidentally, who is haunting my office because he feels so guilty about you.
Somebody I'd like you to meet.
Mr. Johnson.
I'll leave you alone after this. I'm gone. Off. Promise.
What happened to your car?
Freak accident. Grace has been here 4 years. Before that, she was nanny to Daniela Terry.
Living in?
Yeah, 2 years.
So why'd you leave?
Well, it wasn't the Ben. Daniela was a lovely little kid.
It's all right. You won't get into trouble. Promise.
Couldn't stand them, either of them. And her, she was wrong in the head. All she cared about was the way things looked.
The house, you mean?
Not the house. The house was spotless anyway. She had 3 bloody cleaners, lazy sod. And Daniela might as well not have existed, poor lamb.
I'm sorry, only cared about the way what looked.
The marriage. They passed themselves off as this perfect couple, and the truth was they couldn't abide each other. He wouldn't have pissed on her if she caught fire. Most nights, never even come home. And that suited her just fine, because they only rowed if they were both in. Dear me, the language.
Were they violent rows?
He used to hit her. He used to call her a whore. He used to say he'd take the Ben off her.
You all right, Rose?
Why? Don't I look all right?
Where's Maloney? He phoned in and asked me to find this transcript, and now he's not answering his
You
phone.
mean he hasn't... Sorry. You mean he hasn't turned in because he's... Oh, my God.
Maggie. This isn't allowed.
Sing it to me. I'll burn in hell.
No, I mean, this doesn't happen in my life.
Well, get a new life then.
Yeah. Good point.
I'm going to make us a sandwich. And then I want you to make love to me again. Exactly the same as last time.
Yeah, okay. Thanks. Good afternoon, Rose.
Maloney, hi. I get you hard at work tracking down that transcript.
Yes, sort of.
Listen, pal, you better get your knickers on because...
Maloney, Wallace, we're waiting for you. Plenary session on the Johnson case, quick as possible.
Oh, shit.
Joyce, get everyone gathered round. I want to get started.
Shit.
I'm so sorry. Oh, excuse me, can I just go? Sorry. Sorry. I could just... You're right. Sorry, Wallace.
Okay. Okay, let's move on. So, Annie Sorensen Johnson. So you've had nearly a week now working together as a team. So what's the current thinking?
Well...
Maloney.
Well...
Sorry, is there something you want to say to him?
No. No. Just, mind out for the bucket.
Here's the document you asked for.
Ah.
Sorry, look, did she do it, yes or no?
No. This document proves conclusively that David Terry was lying to us. He told us that Annie was in the house and his wife called him in a panic. This is a transcript of the call. And what she actually said was, get this person out of here. I don't want this thing in my home. Nowhere does it say the name Annie.
Right. Good. So, are you starting to change your mind?
Not really. You see, the thing is, Maloney, I saw Annie this morning and she admitted that she was in the house. Oh, this is my fault, Wallace. I just, forgot to tell him.
You forgot? I see. Sorry, where have you been, Maloney?
Oh, I was following up a lead about David Terry's wife.
Promising?
Ish.
Yeah, we found out that the marriage wasn't all it was cracked up to be.
Really? Sorry, have you actually been working together?
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah? We saw the nanny, didn't we?
What?
Okay, so what did she have to say?
Oh, well, she said he was violent towards her.
Towards the daughter?
No, the mother. He hit her.
Really? So, well, why wasn't this brought to court?
Well, the defense thought it would be counterproductive to attack the marriage. And can I just say, if this had been left to me, we'd have sent these papers back on day one. The fact that we're actually starting to get somewhere for Annie Sorensen Johnson is Maloney, 100%. So, also, well done you, Wallace.
Yep.
Teamwork, then.
Yeah, teamwork, Joyce. Thanks.
Except for the bit that you forgot to tell him.
Oh, yeah. I'll be working on those areas where I've let my partner down.
Sorry, Mr. Maloney. You have a visitor?
Hi.
Ah.
I thought you'd be pleased to see me.
Well, I am, Maggie. It's just, you know, this is my place of work.
But you said you didn't want to be parted from me.
Yes. But, you know, what if I was just to turn up at your school one afternoon?
That'd be great.
Well, it wouldn't really, would it? I mean... Oh, no, Maggie. Rose. Look, thanks for,
Look, the truth is, I, don't really have anywhere else to go right now, so could I...
Yes, of course you can, of course you can.
What the hell have they done to you?
Log-actol, the chemical kosh, to keep me safe, Daddy. Funny old world, isn't it?
Annie, I think it's time you face some facts about David Terry.
No. You don't know him. He's an amazing man. Full of love.
Sweetheart, he hated his wife.
Don't you dare come telling me these lies. What do you know about marriage or daughters or telling the truth? Where were you all my life? Where were you when my mother died?
I let you down. I know that.
So did she. She didn't even say goodbye.
No, she didn't.
When I was a little girl, I wanted you to explain it to me, but you never did. I screwed her life up, didn't I?
Well,
You never really wanted me.
Annie, sweetheart.
You never really knew her. And you never really knew me either. That's what you're so worried about, isn't it? Little girl loses her mother. Is her father never there? He buys her love with gifts. She buys his attention with publicity stunts. Look at me, Daddy. I'm on the front pages again. Finds an older man who rejects her just like her father did. You've never quite believed I didn't kill them.
Did you?
Sometimes I think about those peaceful deaths. I think of the little girl and her mother dying together. And I wonder, would that have been better for me?
You didn't do it, Annie. Tell me. You didn't.
Secret engagement. Are the rumours true?
We're not here to talk about us. We're here to talk about keeping our rivers clean.
Annie, is it true that you've recently found God?
No comment, really.
Annie, have you remained clean since leaving the priory?
Yes, I have, yes.
She spent half her life on TV.
Yeah. Now she's in I'm a Celebrity Prisoner, get me out of here. Can I say something?
Not if it's about our next.
She will use you. And when she's feeling better, she will dump you.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Linden. How much do I owe you?
Well, let's talk about work then, because frankly, finding out that David Terry's a shit and a liar doesn't really change things for me.
Well, it ought to make you question the whole case.
Well, okay, let's, for the sake of argument, accept that they were lovers, but she didn't kill them, and neither did he, because his alibi's 100%. So what are we thinking? Was it some random passerby? I mean, what is this? Morse code for I'm feeling frisky again?
Rose? She's distraught and confused.
Oh, do yourself a favour, Maloney, ignore her.
She needs support, I'm sorry.
This is madness. This is manipulation.
Madness. That's what you see, isn't it, when you see pain? When you see humanity in distress, you push it away and stick a label on it. Maybe that's why you're pushing 40 and still on your own, Rose.
Thanks. Well, I'll see you tomorrow, then. And where exactly will we be starting?
With the two questions that are so obvious, nobody's bothered to ask them.
Oh.
Was the convict who had a penchant for turning on the gas...
Duke Rothermere, yes, he was in prison. Maloney.
All the same, let's ask the question. Did he ever meet Dr. Terry in prison?
And if he did, so what?
And what happened to him after he served his sentence for whacking someone with a crowbar?
Wild goose chase, in other words.
Well, have you got any better ideas?
Kelly fell down the stairs.
Ronnie Johnson didn't push you, did he?
Why would he do that?
Well, he's a pretty angry man.
Why do you think she chose you to obsess over?
I've wondered about this. A child who saw her mother die, father never there. Perhaps she saw my family as, I don't know, a perfect ideal of what she never had.
Oh, really? The perfect couple? So she wasn't stalking you, she was stalking your marriage? Stalking the perfect family?
You said you worked as a doctor in London prisons. Was that including one with scrubs?
Yes, I'm standing in for when they were short, mainly fitting inmates for the governor.
What's fitting?
Pronouncing them fit for the governor and the visitors' board.
Does the name Duke Rothermere mean anything to you, Dr. Terry?
Permission to sit down, sir. My legs feel like they're going to give out, what would worry my mum.
Just hang on a minute, Your Highness.
Request you use my legal name, Mr. Hawkins.
Just calm down and shut up. What's the matter with your mum, anyway?
There's no one looking after her, sir. I can't sleep with worry. I can't breathe.
Dr. Terry's on the way.
Who? I want Dr. Alexander.
Just cool it. Dr. Terry's standing in. Alexander's on holiday.
But I don't know Dr. Terry.
Well, you do now.
Sorry, Emily.
Stand up straight, Collins. Sorry, Rothermere.
Rothermere, how are we feeling today?
I'm not well, Doctor.
Oh, dear.
I feel like I might be ill if I have to stand in front of the board today. Request you don't fit me.
What are the symptoms?
Well, I had diarrhoea all night, plus there's a kind of miasma in the air all around me. I feel very frightened.
There's nothing the matter with him, Doctor. He does it every time.
Also, this man has stolen money that I was saving to send my mother for urgent medical assistance in Switzerland.
Well, you have to talk to the governor about anything like that. Well, yes, all right. It's good.
Thank you, Doctor.
Permission to register a complaint against Dr. Terry.
Shut up now. All right.
How would you like to suffer, eh? How would you like something just to mess up your whole life?
Rothermere, you want me to put him on a charge, Doctor?
No, it's fine. Thank you.
When was this?
3 or 4 years ago. Why?
What was he in for?
I'm really... Oh, excuse me. It's bloody thing. Oh, God. I really... assaulting someone with an iron bar, I think. Why?
Well, it's probably nothing, but,
Duke Rothermere was locked away as a boy for turning on the gas taps in his foster parents' bungalow. He did it again later to somebody else. But this is a coincidence, isn't it? It must be a coincidence. He was in Wormwood Scrubs when your wife and daughter were killed.
anything unusual happen in his board of visitors?
I don't know. My job ended at the door.
Who would know?
But Rothermere threatened everybody all of the time. I was quite fond of him, actually. We'd all stolen his money or spat in his food. He was just one of these total pains in the arse.
Anything unusual happen in the hearing?
Not that I can remember.
What was he being charged with?
Oh, yeah. Absconding, I think. Yeah, absconding.
First of all, madam, sirs, I'd like to retract my complaint against Mr. Hawkins stealing my money. It was a case of a mistaken identity. As it was Dr. Terry that stole it. He's got a vendetta against me, being the person that intercepts my letters that my mum writes to me.
We'll deal with that later. I'm going to read out the charge against you, and then you can state your case to the board and the assistant governor. You were out on a home visit, and you did not return on the due date 3 days later. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
And how long were you out for, Mr. Rothermere?
111 days, madam. I was staying with my mum, who was very poorly.
I don't understand. You mean you stayed quite openly with your mother for 111 days when you should have been completing your sentence?
It happens quite often, Mum. We tell the police, but that's all we can do.
And didn't the police go looking for you?
Well, not very hard, madam. In fact, not at all, as far as I know.
Were you working?
Oh, yes, I don't like to be a drain on society, sir. I was working in the markets, cash in hand, obviously.
And how did you get back in eventually?
Unfortunately, I had a fight with an Indian takeaway gentleman, which I can explain, madam. Sir.
Prisoners are recorded as being in prison, but they might in fact be out roaming the streets.
You won't get the Home Office to admit it, but yes, it happens a lot.
Jesus Christ.
Mr. Rothermere? Mr. Rothermere, hello?
He might not have been in the prison.
No, hang on. If he'd absconded from home leave before, surely that would have ruled him out being given it again.
Normally. But his mother was dying.
Maloney, if you find Rothermere, be very careful and call me before you talk to him. Thank you very much. We need to go.
Hello. My name's Maloney, from a thing called the CJRA. Your door was opened. Can I ask you about a man called Dr. David Terry? Is that your mother? When did she die? It's a bit of a coincidence, isn't it? Just a few days before Dr. Terry's wife and daughter died. Why don't we sit down? We could have a talk.
I thought it was empty. I just wanted someone to listen to me. I asked him for his help. I just wanted to get out so I could look after her. I asked him to show a bit of love in his heart. But he didn't have any. There's no love anywhere in this world.
Annie?
I left a message on her father's phone. He'll call her.
What have I done?
That's for you to say.
I lied. About her. About us.
I know.
Oh, yes? Since when?
This morning. When I heard you talk about Annie being there when her mother lay down on a railway track. Because according to her father, she never spoke about it to anyone. Certainly not to somebody that she'd only ever met twice. But she would, of course, share it with the one man she loved more than anything in the world.
I made a terrible mistake. I am a vain, middle-aged man, Miss Linden. An extraordinarily attractive young woman impressed me at a party. She rang me 2 days later to ask me to dinner. She was charming, vivacious, celebrated. I didn't think it would do any harm.
Even though you had such a happy and successful marriage?
You know, my marriage was a sham.
So you fell in love with Annie?
No. I slept with her. For 2 years. She imagined we was soulmates. She knew no more about me, really, than she knew about herself. Eventually, I got bored with her. Bored with her endless emotional crises. Refused to see her again. Said I would no longer do anything to jeopardize my marriage or my family. 3 days later, they were dead.
Did you ever tell Annie that you loved her?
Yes.
And did you ever really love her?
No.
Is that what you told her in the last letter? A letter that she could never bring herself to show anyone. Not even to prove her story in court.
I think I'd like to be alone for a while.
I'm going to stay with my folks for a while. Going to sell a house. I'm going back to work on Monday morning.
I used you. I'm sorry.
Will I see you again?
Sooner or later, you have to give up the fantasy. Let the real world back in. Taxi.
Do you want a hand?
No.
Here. As predicted.
I'm so sorry, Maloney. Do you mind if...
Oh, no, you go ahead.
Take you home.
You forget how big the sky is.
He slaughtered his whole family in total cold blood.
I mean, he'll really hurt you.
Tell him I'm looking forward to spitting on his grave.
It's Marcus.
Nice to meet you at last.
He's oddly,
Likeable.
Did you say peppermint?
Oh, we haven't had dessert yet.
I quite fancy sticky toffee pudding.
The new drama continues on ITV1 as we take to the skies on Wednesday. Time is of the essence, and every second counts. Don't miss our new series, The Golden Hour, Wednesday at 9. And remember, celebrating ITV 50, we're live in Sun Hill for a special bill on Thursday at 8. Coming next tonight, the ITV News at 10:30.